All right. What is poppin', party pundits? Welcome to another episode of Pop Talk. This is episode 41. I am Professor Nims. I'm giving it up to my man, the Casual Rand.
What's up, though?
Boston Jared.
Peace.
And the inimitable Coach Dave. So we are going to jump right into, we had a fun-filled weekend of fisticuffs. I actually linked up with the Casual Rand. We were we decided to meet in our hometown to catch some of the fights with some of our brethren. But we're gonna start off with the sisters, our sisters going over across the pond and laying it down, coming back with all of the hardware. And you know who I'm speaking of. The quote, Clarissa Shields in a hard-fought unanimous decision against Savannah Marshall. And then a fight that I totally missed and did not pick, but it is your girl, the gorgeous goddess, Alicia Baumgartner, who put that thing on Michaela Mayer. So we're going to start off with, let's start off with Coach. I like to start off with him because he is probably one of the biggest advocates that we have on the channel when it comes to female boxing. He's somebody that's always really supported, and he helps to put on, to put women on our radar that that we're not even aware of at that time. So, and then I'll go ahead. I'm gonna find some dry bird to eat over here because I'm definitely eating crow because I was the only one who did not get these picks right for the weekend.
Who'd you pick? You picked Mayer, right?
I did pick Mayer. I did.
That wasn't a crazy pick. A lot of people were on the fence about that fight.
I mean, it was a close fight.
It was. I mean, I thought.
Yeah, that's the one fight I was able to catch a little bit of.
Yeah. So, Coach Dave, were you? What did you think about our sisters going over there and handling their business? So let's start off with Alicia Baumgartner, and then we're gonna end with Clarissa Shields.
Yeah. So I do think it was a close fight. I was in the beginning, I was impressed with both fighters. I'll be honest with you, man. I thought, it was a close fight. I think Baumgartner in the beginning, man, just came out doing exactly what she needed to do. I think because she started looking for that big one shot, man, that's what let Mayers back into the fight. Yeah. I think towards the end of the round. But let me be clear on something, y'all. And I don't know what her corner was talking about. I don't care what nobody say. That girl Mayers did not want any part of a bunches of punches in combination, Alicia Baumgartner. She did not want to be near that doggone just venomous, just monster strength in her punches. She could not handle that girl's strength. And I think an aggressive Baumgartner might have really hurt that girl, you know what I'm saying? Because Michaela Mayers she liked the rumble on the inside. You look at what she did with Hamadouche. Hamadouche was a strong fighter. She didn't want that with Baumgartner.
That's very interesting. She could not handle it with Baumgartner. So totally impressed with the fight. I think it definitely was close. Could have went either way, but it only. And let me be clear on this. It only could have went either way, just simply because Alicia Baumgartner kind of let off the gas and was looking for that overhand right in that one punch. Other than that, I'm telling you, dog, she dominated that daggone Michaela Mayers. I don't give a rat's butt what nobody say.
No, she came out super fast. Do you think that I thought she was maybe was catching her second win or anything? Do you think?
I don't know if it was a issue of fatigue or anything, man. Cause I think it could have been because she was throwing those hard shots. I think she just went for the counter punch. She was looking for that punch, counter punch, instead of just
keeping the pressure, walking behind that jab, and when she got close, ripping off them 2-3 punches. Because every time she would do that, boy, Mayers would back up. She hit Mayers in the body a couple of times, and Mayers didn't want none of that strength, that power. That's it. That's just it for me, man. On Shields, hey, look, I'm gonna be quick with this one. I kept telling y'all, Shields is gonna put on a clinic, and she just boxed and beat that girl across the doggone ring, knocking her off balance, slipping punches, catching punches, was never really, in trouble. The volume of punches, the speed, and the skill set of Clarissa, was just, it was overwhelming. It was overwhelming. I honestly, and being generous, I may have gave Savannah Marshall maybe 2 rounds, maybe. So that's it.
Yeah.
I thought it was beautiful, man. I'm glad the sisters brought the belt back.
Let's on that fight than I was.
Yeah, let's go to Kajaran because he actually had Shields losing that fight. But first, kind of give your insights on Baumgartner.
I could have saw her losing. I mean, it was just
that Shields?
Like she.
Well, hold on, but but let's.
I'm just asking. I didn't have her losing. I wanted her to win. I picked her to win. But during the fight, man, when she went against, she would just naturally get forced to the ropes, and she didn't do shit against the ropes. She just kept going against the ropes. Her coaches had to tell her to stay off the fucking ropes. When she was on the ropes, she was getting tagged. And, I mean, she won't get caught, but she was getting tagged, and she wasn't giving anything back.
I thought she was doing good.
Said, nah.
I thought she was doing good work.
Wasn't giving like some fighters can fight off the rope. Clarissa Shields was not.
I disagree. I think it doesn't look good, but because it wasn't necessarily that it was even on the ropes. It was that she was walking herself back into a corner, right? So a corner is a little bit different.
And when she went in that rope, when she went in the corner or on the rope, she wasn't throwing nothing. She didn't she wasn't trying to do a Mayweather or whatever.
You don't think so?
Fire back. She
showed good skill.
She was just there getting hit. But I say she won. I say she won. But I want to go to Baumgartner first. Baumgartner, I like, look, I think it's either the 4th and the 5th or the 5th and the 6th. That's when it seemed like she hit a wall. And then, like what you said, Dave, she was just trying to counter at that point. And she, Mayers was just tagging her with that jab. You know what I'm saying? Her thing was like, stay the distance, just keep beating her ass jab. Now, it got close. You know what I'm saying? It got real close until the 7th. The 7th is when Baumgartner I thought she could have actually put her ass down. Yeah. I watched it again. The 7th round is when she hit him with some rock'em sock'em. And then like the 8th and 9th were close. And then like I think Baumgartner lost the 10th. But you know what I'm saying? I still had her winning. I talked about this was like, what's so cool about it, like the whole thing, the cool about it, I mean, I'm at work. I went to work. And one of my colleagues is a female, and she was like, her and her fiance are big into the boxing also. So we sat there and had a debate also. They had Baumgartner losing, but I was like, nah, you can't give up the first half of a fight and then think you just going to win off of jabs on the second half.
Did you ask them what the scoring criteria was for boxing?
Nah, I didn't.
Because a lot of people, if we get serious, because a lot of fans, and this is for some of our maybe our younger viewers who did not grow up with the great late Harold Letterman, who would always go over the scoring criteria before the beginning of each fight. Yeah. It is clean, hard punching, effective aggression, ring generalship, and defense. Just because you touching somebody or maybe outlanding somebody does not necessarily mean you're landing the cleaner, harder shots. And it doesn't mean you're winning on the other 4 categories either. A lot of casual fans judge fights off of who's outlanding who, which isn't totally illogical or unreasonable. It's just not the scoring criteria.
Yeah, so, and sorry, Randy. One thing I gave credit to Baumgartner is like every time she got hit with a strong jab, she made sure she got those points back with like a good 2-piece. So like she'll get hit with a jab, but she'll come back with a 1-2. So I didn't see, like I was listening to the commentators earlier today, and I was like, man, they were straight dick riding Myers because they had her winning like 8-2. And then so I was like, nah,
really?
this can't be right. And then,
that can't be right, man. Because they
had
the fight we watched, they had a winning.
They had Myers winning 6-4. And I was like, I still don't see that. I don't see that at all. But you know what I'm saying? She did have a clean, crisp jab, like from 4 to 7, but 7 she got rocked. And then from 7, 8, and 9, I thought she lost them rounds, but then Myers won the 10th. So it was a good fight, man. And then I wish Bumgarner would have been like, you can run it back, but I understand that she's trying to be unified, so she needs to go ahead and get that unification. But then maybe after the unification, run that back, man. That'll be a great fight to watch again, man.
Well, yeah, it's the intelligent decision to make. Because I think that if she becomes undisputed or unified, she could get more for that rematch than she could with whatever belt she's got now. So it's probably business-wise a smart thing to do.
Clarissa Shields, man, I mean, I think she won. She didn't dominate like Dave was saying. I think she punched out late in the fight, and then she was just resting on the ropes a little too much, man, to be dominant. To me,
wow. Hey, man, I don't know what you was watching, Randy. I don't know what you was watching.
So we'll say, but let's bring in Boston Jarrett. So let's get your take on the female.
Look, I didn't watch. I had to work, unfortunately, on Saturday. I was speeding up 95 to try to get home to catch the fights that I did catch, but I was unable to catch Savannah Marshall and Clarissa Shields. I was able to watch the last half of Baumgardner and Mayer, and again, only watching rounds 5 through 10 or 6 through 10. The impression I got was Michaela Mayer employed a very, very kind of amateur style approach to that fight, where she was touching with the jab, landing with the jab, but not necessarily landing good hard jabs or jabs that looked like it was affecting Baumgardner. Baumgardner would respond with big, hard shots, similar to the way that you will see Canelo do sometimes with guys, with the boxers he's in with, will touch, land, and Canelo responds with big, heavy shots that may not necessarily land cleanly, but are eye-catching shots that the judge is able to see. And the punches that Baumgardner did land cleanly, they shifted Michaela Mayer's whole body. I mean, it was
whole body.
Whip, man, made her lean all the way off to the right. So the one thing that I was going to ask Dave about, because I haven't watched I haven't watched Mayer a lot, or much of Baumgardner, is what did you see stylistically, Dave? Would you say that Baumgardner is somebody who is more groomed to fight a professional style of fight? I saw her off her back foot a whole lot, looking to counter, whereas Mayer, you can kind of tell she's got that amateur pedigree where she can come through and throw lots of volume, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, where Baumgardner is sitting there waiting to counter and land the bigger, harder shots. What do you make of Baumgardner stylistically versus Mayer stylistically?
No, man, I honestly think that they both are true pro fighters, man. And what you got to remember is just that, we each might have our own, style of boxing that we like, but make no mistake about it. That counter puncher coming off the back foot, that's just a style of boxing. Now, with Mayers, I can't say she is, still caught up into that amateur fighting, because in that amateur fighting, man, it's just
Yeah, I think Marshall shows more. Early on, Marshall showed more than that. Not Marshall, but Shields showed more of that amateur style than Michaela Mayer. Right. So even though with women, the only problem is that they only have 2 minutes.
Right. That's what I was saying.
Right. But even in the 2 minutes, man, if you watch a lot of Michaela Mayer's fight, she is a controlled, just high volume, technical fighter, man. She likes to rumble on the inside. So I don't think it's
amateur because, you know, I can see a distinctive approach when Mayers is fighting, man. A prime example, I'm trying to tell you that Hamadou, like, but in the amateurs, it's like you just trying to get it in. You trying to get it in. But this woman will bang your body. She will hit you in your sternum and bring that thing up to your head, twist that hook off, and she popped the head out. It is focused and it is deliberate, even though it's just a high volume puncher. So they're both still pro styles, man. Baumgartner, though, I think she just got to show some versatility, and she got to not be a one-dimensional fighter. And if that woman can do what she did those first rounds throughout the duration of the fight, man, she gonna be hell to deal with.
Now, let me ask you this, Dave. The one thing I noticed, and I pointed this out, she's off her back foot a lot. Now, I don't know if that was the case the first half of the fight, but the second half of the fight looked like she was on her back foot a lot. Do you think she would have had more success if she was able to get on her front foot more? And when she was able to back Mayer up with big, hard shots, claiming that real estate, cutting the ring off, and putting Mayer on her back foot as opposed to letting Mayer recover and reset and go back to the center of the ring.
All right. So let me take that terminology first, because on the back foot, on the front foot, whether I'm going forward or whether I'm going backwards, my full weight is never necessarily on my front foot, because it can make me lean and reach with the jab, you know. So even though I'm going forward, predominantly of my weight is on that back leg, and I'm sticking that jab and walking it to you still. So I understand what you're saying about on the front foot. So for me, my style of teaching, yes, Baumgartner should have pressed with the jab more to get on the inside, where she would have whooped Michaela's ass even better. Like Randy said, that 7th round at Michaela's fight game on that inside. Michaela cannot handle that girl. So yeah, she would have been more devastating and dominating had she kept pressing on that jab and working behind that jab.
Man, I think two factors with that. One, after the 4th round, I think she was kind of gassed. And the second, y'all forget Michaela Mayer had like what a 4 to 6 inch reach advantage and she had a pumping jab that'll keep your ass on your back foot for a while.
Yeah, but one thing I like with Baumgartner, she was doing a good job of taking her head off the line at times and really avoiding that jab. And that's where the rounds that I was watching, I mean, I'm giving Baumgartner rounds on defense and clean hard punching and effective aggression. On the rounds
I saw it during the middle of it. I thought Michaela, she didn't really put a lot of damage on her, but I thought she was able to control the middle rounds.
Yeah,
with her jab.
Like she was that jab, and that's why Baumgartner was on her back foot. She was trying to, you know what I'm saying, slip that distance. You know what I'm saying, get out that distance, get out of range of them jabs.
It was.
I think she was waiting to land that big hard shot that Dave was talking about. I don't think anything Mayer was throwing bothered her.
I think she rested up and it was like, hey man, you need to get back on your shit. And then on the 7th, she went back in attack mode. But like 4 or 5.
If you get a long stiff jab from a good boxer, that's gonna bother you. It's just like, if you're coming in and that pop, that's just like, how do you think that somebody like Tyson Fury in the first fight was able to keep Deontay Wilder at bay?
Yeah, but you're talking about a guy with a 50-pound weight advantage.
I'm talking about the first fight. It was just basically, he wasn't even stepping into the jab. He was just doing this, pop. But like every time you want to start your offense, you get smacked in the face, then you have to reset. You come in,
I don't think that Baumgartner was bothered by Mayer's jab as much as Wilder was bothered by Fury's jab. But I watched the whole fight.
But she was bothered by it. She was bothered.
Fair enough. And again, y'all have the advantage. I did not see the fight in its entirety, so y'all could be right. I got to go watch this in its entirety, so I'm not in a position to argue with y'all. So.
All right, so we're gonna move on for this. But
Dave has something to wrap up.
Just one other thing, man. That I want to say. This is just for more so a historical thing, and I haven't finished looking at all of it yet. but I'll probably be ready to come back maybe next week when we do it. So let me say this about these two girls real quick, about these two fights. These 4 fights, in particular, the 2 that fought, Mayers and Baumgartner, Savannah and Marshall, I'm willing to say that those 2 bouts has the potential to be one of the most dynamic trilogies if they let it happen. Definitely among female boxers, but just within boxing, period, because of all that animosity. So I think Baumgartner is right to go ahead on and get this undisputed, and then whoever said get the undisputed and give it back to Mayers and fight her again, bro, that thing will be off the chart. And Clarissa Shields and the way that fight went with Savannah Marshall, that'll be off the chart. So I just think it has the makings to be one of the greatest, just trilogies, man. Both fights, man. If they really go at it, man. That's
and boxing rivalries, right? Because we could see them just win both the fights, and they might be even more impressive. Right? And speaking of Baumgartner and Shields, and one of the reasons I said that is that I didn't appreciate Micaiah Mayer's unsportsmanship and the way that she acted. She pouted. She didn't want to really congratulate. I think after a little bit, They did.
They showed it.
Yeah, they showed it. But I mean, come on. Is this like? It's not even a woman. We see men like do this at the time. It's just that this was a hard fought fight. I mean, but but even when they reconciled, she was outside of the ring. She didn't go and congratulate her or do this and say, let's do this again. Let's run this back. She's a
competitor. I like that shit. That's one thing I don't like about women's sports. Women's sports sometimes.
This has nothing to do with women. If this was a man, even with like Deontay, I didn't like Deontay Wilder, how he reacted to Tyson Fury and his unsportsmanlike.
Right.
If women, like, men do this a lot too. It's just like Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua threw a hissy fit. It had nothing to do with women's sports. I just think that is with this sport here, it's blood, sweat, and tears. And usually there is this kind of kinship that you kind of build once you go through that, because I was telling them, you especially with them hard fought fights, you leave a little piece of yourself in that ring every time you get in there.
Yeah, but she a competitor though, man. I don't understand what you're saying from a sportsmanship standpoint. And if I had, kids, or if I was coaching up an athlete, I would always encourage them to do that. But having, I get it. And having competed in just shit like football, sometimes you get your ass whipped. Last thing you want to do is, hey, great job, all that.
Oh yeah, I forget. He from Boston, so he likes Tom Brady when Tom Brady goes and like cries and does well and do this.
Well, Brady's not from Boston, to be clear, but you're right. But hey, look, the point is, she's a competitor. She's not used to losing either. So
where is Tom Brady from then?
He's from California.
But where do we know him from? Where did he break his legacy?
From the Patriots. But the point is, competitors.
He was gonna say I don't know.
You're gonna say Tom Brady.
You're gonna say I don't know.
No, I didn't say I don't know. I said from the Patriots. So the point is, competitors don't like to lose. And Micaiah Mayer is a competitor.
You should take up for your man. But the thing is, that the way that he goes about and those hissy fits, that stuff that he does, that stuff is a bad mark for him.
This is a boxing show we talk about here. This is a boxing show, and we'll come back to it because Darrell did the same exact shit. Darrell ain't
Darrell
came back and made a video.
Darrell was concussed.
Came back and did the video.
Darrell didn't know where he was at.
He was concussed.
He wasn't that concussed.
He wasn't concussed.
Hey, start the next segment.
Yeah. Well, let's go to the next one.
He wasn't that concussed.
Let's just go to that one. So we'll come to the Haney, but let's go to Caleb. He plants Darrell. Not only that, but he put the dirt on his grave and sent him to La La Land.
Man, he shut me up. He must have heard me talking shit about him.
Man,
I mean,
not just me.
Let's just start with Boston Jared, because you for some reason I don't know why you don't think this man was not concussed the way that he was knocked out.
Man, we just seen dudes get knocked the fuck out and get back up and say, "Hey, good fight." You know that he was a little bit salty afterwards. That's just my personal opinion. I'm sure he was. He definitely knocked the fuck out.
Did you not see him still on the floor on the ground for like 5 minutes?
He was out before he hit the ground. All I'm saying is that we've seen it before. We've seen guys get KTFO'd and say, "Hey, good fight," and then walk off. Maybe it was a valid excuse, but I'm saying, getting back to what we were saying about Mayer and Baumgartner, competitors, that's not the first thing on their mind when they lose.
Yeah, but one thing is that I haven't been knocked out like that. I want to say that, but I've been a corner man and I've talked to my relatives, my brother, in fact. And when those things happen, a lot of times you don't even remember the fight. They'll say, I talked to him before. He said when he got knocked out, he was like, man, I just remember like walking out to the ring. And it was like the 8th round when he got knocked out. In a sense, brain trauma is real.
I've been knocked out one time in my life, and that was playing football. And when I came to, I was like, I need to hurry up and wake up and make PT formation in the morning. I was in Germany. I was thinking about PT in the morning. I wasn't even thinking about how the fuck I got knocked out. So I wasn't like.
So we need to go and give Boston Jared a good concussion so he can so he can relate more.
Yeah. He was like, man, I need to be cordial to this motherfucker that just knocked me out.
Yeah, I mean, look, we can use a bunch of examples. I mean, it's happened before, right? It's happened before. And for me, as a spectator, I'm not always caught up on that sportsmanship. I like to see the bad blood.
Yeah,
a sport right now that's becoming more and more of a niche sport. We need shit like that, because shit like that sells, man. Shit like that sells. It helps promote. It's a story. It helps promote the sport. I'm not condoning poor sportsmanship. It's not what I'm condoning. I'm just saying, as a fan, I don't mind seeing a little bit of nastiness. And this is not track and field or football or basketball.
But
these
after
niggas
the fight,
beating the shit out of each other.
I know, but like
I understand.
I understand before the fight, but after the fight, you don't want to acknowledge somebody that you've been to battle with. I understand before the fight, if you don't want to shake their hand, whatever you need to do. But after you've had that contest, you have done that. They both are warriors. And
I get it, Kev. We kind of beating a dead horse at this point. I get it. Sportsmanship, yes, but competitiveness.
Let's go to Coach Dave.
Yes, that's just my opinion.
Let's think about some of you. You've had fighters that have been knocked out, that have been concussed, that have knocked out people and have done that. So, I mean, would you reprimand, one of your boxers and all that? And then we also want to get your take on the Caleb Plant, Anthony Durrell.
Yeah. Look, I already said it. Hey, yeah, sportsmanship. You always want to shake the man's hand. But and to Durrell's credit, he put out a video, the next day, congratulating Caleb Plant and whatever. And props to him, and props to Durrell for doing that, because he definitely got heat. I mean, man, he was out before he hit the ground. I mean, that was some kind of, and it came. I don't want to say technically it came out of nowhere, because
that shit ain't come out of nowhere. He was doing the same combination the whole fight.
And you heard Breadman, and you heard Breadman
at the end
afterwards saying that, hey, I told you that left hook.
You know what I'm saying?
That power came out of nowhere.
That high, he was hit. He threw that like 10 times, but he was missing at first. He'll throw the body and then he'll go to the head, but he'll miss the head. He threw that shot, man, like the whole fight. But they both try to throw that fucking hook at the same time, and
Plants was sharper. Plants was sharper, and the trajectory was much better.
You gotta remember, Cameron, you was gonna ask Coach Dave how he would deal with his fighter. These are pros. That coach
pro. What are you talking about? I was in his corner as a cut man. What are you talking about? He's coach pros. What are you talking about?
But I'm saying, at that level, the fighter is the boss. Let a fucking coach tell Fury or tell what I'm saying or something.
You can say that. You can say that. But watch Mike Tyson when he fought Larry Holmes, right? So in this, right?
Them days is over, Cam. Them days is over. The fighter is the
okay. So let me see Devin Haney.
That's his daddy.
Like
that's his daddy.
I keep giving you examples where I keep giving you examples where the coach is the boss, and then you keep saying, "Well, that don't count."
So all right, just don't give me the daddy and tell me what fighter where the coach is the boss.
What I'm arguing about? What is the argument here?
I'm gonna throw it to Coach Dave and talk about how. Do you think that is a kind of an acceptable type of response to laws? Whether so this with Michaela Mary, this wasn't even a knockout loss. It was just a tough loss.
Dude, can we get off of this?
Why is everybody talking about that? I just want to know. Give him a chance. He hasn't said anything. Let him talk.
I fucking stop cutting me off and let me say.
I know. God, dang, both of y'all cut him off.
LP. All right. So look. In a nutshell, all right. To each his own, man. All right. That's what I say. So for me, and I'm gonna touch on a lot of shit too, because y'all were kind of going off on a whole lot of tangents and shit, man. So for me, when I train a fighter, I trust in me. I know what I know to do. That fighter comes to me because he know what I can do. You know what I'm saying? If a fighter don't want to listen to me, then go the hell on. The first thing you learn in boxing is you don't chase no damn fighters. So you don't chase no damn fighters. So no, you need to definitely fight how I'm telling you to fight. Just work how I tell you to work. So, and it ain't no who the boss, not the boss, and all that shit. This is the percentage you're gonna pay me if I do train you. But at the end of the day, if you don't fight like I'm asking you to fight, then just move the hell on. Ain't no love lost. So I like my fighters to be decent human beings, man. But you're gonna, to each his own. You get somebody like Mayweather's daddy. Mayweather's daddy might be telling him, yeah, tell that dude F him, bump him. But for me, I'm always be like, hey, look, man, I know it's tough. Show some sportsmanship. We can go back and deal with it. But to Jared's point, it's okay to be both ways. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to be at one end of the spectrum. I don't have to be just totally ignorant and mean to somebody because you whoop my ass. And at the same time, I ain't got the daggone be cool by y'all and be ready to smoke the peace pipe with you either. You know what I'm saying? So let there be some room for a little medium ground up there. No extremes. Either way, and then let's take it up again. About the Plant fight, man, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful knockout. He was trying that thing, you know what I'm saying? But when you go back and watch it, so what Randy was saying, he went body head. But when he caught that joker, right? Notice he shot the body, went into a clinch and paused to get the real time to come for that counter. Missed that counter, then he caught him. You know what I'm saying? So it was just beautiful, man. I wish I can't remember wish I could hear the corner and what they said. I don't know if they said touch him down low, slip like you about to catch something, and then turn off. Because sometimes people would just throw that body headshot, bam, bam, and they turn it right over. He hit that joker, boom, clinch, boom, and then caught him. It was just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful shot, man. Yeah. And look, Darrell always like trying to be the bully, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I think that was his game plan going in, just walking down Plant and just, you know what I'm saying?
He didn't do any walking down though.
Yeah, I know. I just don't understand what his game plan was going in.
Me either. I'm glad you said that.
You know what I'm saying? I predicted last week. I predicted that Plant was just going to outbox him and it'll go 12 rounds, but Plant was still going to win. This guy, he just came in thinking that I'm stronger than Plant, and then when he missed and slipped, I'm gonna knock him out.
I think Plant hit him with some shit that made him think twice about just coming straight ahead.
Yes. That no more need to be said.
I think, and I hope, and building off of that, look, because I talked a lot of shit about Caleb Plant after that Canelo fight. Not so much about not so much about him stylistically, but about his mentality. But stylistically also, he's had this very kind of you know, amateurish kind of, constantly on his bike, never sitting down on his punches. But you see what kind of power he's able to generate when that cat sits down on his punches and commits. He was bigger than Andre Dirrell, which I did not think, because I had not seen much of the build up to this fight. I had never seen the face off. Caleb Plant he's a natural 168. He makes that weight very, very comfortably. And he's kind of a big joker. He was bigger than Dirrell, it looked like. And look, if he catches most of the guys at 168 with that shot, he's putting all them guys out, in my opinion. So I hope that Caleb Plant builds off of this and he sees what he's able to do when he hangs in the pocket and he commits to his shots and he sits down on his shots.
So what would be a build though? What's his next step? The build.
You already know what
his next. To me, it's Morrell. To me, that's
6-7 professional fights. That's a supreme risk and no reward. Like, why not fight Benavidez?
Or why haven't they fought? I mean, they've been on the same side of the street for 50 years now.
I mean,
yes, ideally Benavidez, but like, why haven't they fought already?
That's what I'm saying. Like, take your momentum. You know, grab your ball. You think you got some power now. Go fight the monster in the division.
I get it. Yes,
you're not going to go right into a rematch with Alvarez. But if you can,
that fight's not available.
If you can beat Benavidez, that puts a lot of pressure on you to get that opportunity to fight.
Somebody don't want that fight. I don't know if it's Plant, if it's Benavidez, or if it's Al motherfucking Heyman.
You know it's not.
Somebody don't want that fight. There's no reason why that fight has not been made already. Maybe it's Jamal Charlo. I don't know. But I'm looking at it.
Was it Charlo at the fight?
No, I think that was Jermell that was at the fight. They put Jamal,
okay.
But I'm almost positive that was Jermell at the fight. I'm not certain. There was a Charlo who was at the fight. I don't think Plant knew which one it was, and I don't think the Showtime crew or the Fox crew knew which Charlo it was either, because they put Jamal, I think, but I don't think that was Jamal. I think it was Jermell.
Wow.
I think it was Jermell. But look, man, going forward, man, yes, obviously Benavidez is the no-brainer. My thing is this. These guys have been on the same side of the street, in the same division, kind of at the same place in their careers for years now. And why hasn't the fight been made? I mean, so for whatever reason, they don't want to make that fight. So I'm thinking the next best fight to make is the David Morrell fight. David Morrell is a guy who's been fast-tracked as much as possible. And I mean, as a fight I'd like to see. Promotionally speaking, it's doable, right? So
I mean, I think Morrell makes more sense. I think
really, if
I read things right, I think Andrade called out Benavidez recently.
Really?
They have, but
that guy is the
I don't know that. I
mean, if you want to get back into the mix, man, that he got to do something.
It's not just about that though. It's about the business side. It's about relationships and all that shit. And I don't know that Steven Espinoza.
You sound like Andrade. It's like
I'm giving you the realistic. It's not just about, hey, I want to fight. Hey, you want to fight? Let's fight. That's not how professional boxing works, unfortunately. Otherwise, we get all the fights we want.
I've seen it before with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder.
Well, we haven't seen it with Caleb Plant and Benavidez, and we haven't seen it with Ryan Garcia
because it was
and
somebody
Tank Davis, and we haven't seen it with Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, and we haven't seen it with Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. Like, come on, man! Like, what planet do you live on, dude? Like, that's not how professional boxing works.
Want that fight? Listen, when Mike Tyson wanted to fight Lennox Lewis and vice versa, but if those guys,
that was 30 years ago.
If those boxers really want to fight, they will find a way.
No, that's not accurate. That's not how professional boxing works in the year 2022, Cam. It's not. These dudes have
this in less than probably like 5 cross promotional fights. Like
yeah, and three of them were the same guy. Three of them was like Wilder Fury 3 times, though. Those cross promotional fights happen very, very rarely. The other one was Pacquiao Floyd. Like, dude, that shit don't happen all the time. But what's it called? Benavidez and Plant is not a cross promotional fight. We can't even get that. When Jared Hurd was at the top of the 154-pound division, when he was undisputed or was a three-belt unified champ, we couldn't get Charlo and Hurd. So, look, I don't want to turn this show into something else and go off topic, but the viewers, look at all those fighters I named and look at what the common denominator is. You know, I'm not going to say it because I don't want to bring us too far off topic, but I'm just telling you. And going back to Demetrius Andrade is
trying to say is Al Heyman.
Bob Arrow. No, let me go ahead.
Right. Yeah. Hey, look, Andrade is a free agent, but look, he made decisions in the past that rubbed folks the wrong way, may have burned some bridges or closed some bridges, and those people may be reluctant to want to do business with him for whatever reason. So,
well, I mean, for one, he can't even fill out a high school basketball gym.
Well, there are a lot of fighters that can't do that. So let's not use that as the end all be all, because neither can Devin Haney.
Devin Haney is undisputed champion, and
he still can't fill out. He still can't fill out a high school gym. Neither can Jamel Charlo with all his belts. He can't. Why was he having
I don't know about that one.
Well, why was he having an undisputed fight in parts unknown California instead of Houston, Texas, where he's from?
I mean, it might have been he knows that if he's fighting a Hispanic or a Mexican, or I don't want to get into that fighter, he knows that that dollars make sense. So, but I'm surprised that both of those fighters have had successful drawings in Texas.
Where? Who?
Both of the Charlos. Both of them.
I would by successful. What do you mean? What metrics are you using?
I mean, I don't know.
Like profit making fight.
Yeah, profit.
They had a pay-per-view fight where they were both on the same card, and those pay-per-view buys were it was like 80,000 buys with both of them combined on the same card. And that fight,
we were talking about filling the arena and bringing out people to see the fight. But
yeah, I don't know that they do.
We don't want to get too far away. So with that said, I think this is a good segue to talk about Haney, who does have a style that is probably not the most aesthetically pleasing, but he is a master boxer.
Yes.
He is somebody who is undisputed. He went to Australia twice and beat your boy Kambosos. I think he beat him in a more convincing fashion this time. Maybe not, but I thought so. I thought he was putting some real hurt on him. He didn't look good at the scales, though. He didn't look good at
a POW, man.
He looked
he looked bad.
He looked like one of those bobble dolls. His head was looking really, really big, and his body was looking.
He looked
small.
Like 50 Cent in that movie when he had
when he played a crackhead or whatever, right? Yeah,
exactly. But let's go. We haven't heard from Coach in a while. So, what was your thoughts on the performance by Devin Haney? And then, do you think that with his style that he is going to be able to develop? He's not Tank. He doesn't have this kind of Mayweather hype machine, and he doesn't have the power behind him. But he is closer to Mayweather than Tank is. So do you think that he can develop a following, even if they just want to follow him to see him lose?
I don't think he can. Well, so no to, can he develop a following just so that people can see him lose? I just don't think he has that charisma, that smack talking, and all that stuff that Mayweather has. So that answer is no. I thought he was really trying to
But what I was most impressed about is that I think he was trying to get that boy out of there. I think he was. It's probably one of the most aggressive fights that my opinion, that I saw in Haney, and I liked him, man. I like how he boxes. What I think with Haney, the big thing that's gonna make him one of those ones where people might come to see him lose, is just if he just keep winning and beating people, but he's not stopping people in a remarkable, spectacular fashion like a Tank or Tyson does. People can just ignore it with it and still just hate on him and just somebody whoop his ass because he ain't no excited fact.
It's no drama. Like even if the drama is just like when's he gonna take him out? But yeah,
right. And so now, more aggressive, right? At one time I thought, man, was my man's corner gonna throw the towel in or something, So it wasn't nothing that was not expected. I mean, we literally, even the first fight, we was like, all of us, I think, was like, he gonna beat the break. This dude can't box with Haney. So it won't nothing,
I mean, we didn't even get pundit picks. We were just like, come on.
Right. But what I'm getting at is the things that I like and I'm watching in Haney is I like that he was being more aggressive. It was great. You know what I'm saying? Him and Shakur would probably be like a just boring fight. You know what I'm saying? But be good to watch, you know what I'm saying, with those styles. So I like the aggressiveness. But what I do like about this kid is like, hey, look, man, he's ready. I think he is legitimately ready to fight anybody.
Dave, let me ask you this. Given what we saw at the weigh-in, and Cam talked about this to begin the segment, I know it's tough from the outside looking in, do you keep him at 135? Do you bring him through another camp and put him in there with a guy like Lomachenko and risk him not being able to show up and perform at a high level because of that weight cut? Or do you say, fuck it, let's go on up to 140 and chase the Teofimos and the Ryan Garcias and the whoever else?
So if I kept him at
Tanks.
If I kept him
and Tank,
if that 130 is gonna be tough, man.
A 135.
Lightweight, yeah.
So not Tank, because Tank is 135 pounder. You be leaving Tank's division.
Tank, what man?
So if I stayed there,
Tank has fought at 140, but he is at 135.
Yes.
If I could hold that weight, I would definitely try to get a fight with Tank. If Tank is not talking about moving up, then I would try. I would just say, look, man, let's try to get it.
But that's not the fight, though, Dave. Haney has one fight left with Top Rank, and Lomachenko. Lomachenko is the fight that. So now, because that factors into it also, because Lomachenko is, as much as his fan base would like to make him out to be this big star, he ain't. At this point in his career, he is very much a high risk, low reward guy.
Haney, if I could get a fight with Tank at 135 or try to go up and get Garcia at 140, if I'm Haney, that's what I do.
Okay, so you're not hanging around for Lomachenko. You saying F Loma?
He's going to beat Lomachenko, dude.
I get it. That's what your
opinion is. But you don't. So Boston, you don't think that beating Lomachenko is a star-making fight?
No.
Not for hardcores. It is for us. It is. But as far as making him a mainstream star,
I think for the casuals also.
I think so.
Because they hype him up so much.
It's a 2-for-1. You put a nail in fucking Lomachenko, so we won't have to hear that fucking name again. And two, it is. It'll be the best. It'll be the biggest name on his resume.
It will. But again,
I think that's
my thing is this. When he was calling out Lomachenko, that was 3 years ago. He's a big 135 pounder. Do you risk showing up weight drain?
But yes, now that's exactly where I was going. So now, if I was Lomachenko, I'll be more excited because now I'm gonna get your ass weight drain and then get your ass then. You know what I'm saying? Put in a contract. hey, you can't be more than 8 pounds more than you.
No way. No,
rehydration clause.
No, he's a champ. He's a champ for one thing. He's the undisputed champ. So all of that fugazi,
he is the undisputed champ on a promotion company that Lomo is the fucking star.
Whatever. No, there's no way that his management is going to take in a rehydration.
Y'all are blind as shit if y'all think that fucking at Top Rank that Devin Haney is a bigger star than Lomachenko.
Because if it wasn't
he wouldn't even be. He wouldn't even have one though.
Nobody said that. We said that this is a star-making fight. So obviously, that's somebody who is rising up.
I just said at Top Rank eyes, Lomachenko is the biggest star. I don't care if Haney has.
But there is no way that they would disrespect.
That's a technicality.
There is no way that they would disrespect an undisputed champion who has defended his belt by giving him a rehydration.
He's not going to have leverage. He's not going to have leverage in a negotiation.
He'll be like, you know what? I'm not gonna fight the guy because Lomachenko needs this fight more than Devin Haney.
Yes, absolutely. And I don't think, to Loma's credit, I don't think Loma is that guy. I don't think Loma would do that. I really think that this.
I would say Top Rank need this fight more than Haney.
You said what?
I think Top Rank needs this fight more than Haney.
I don't know about that, man. Neither one of these guys are real. They're hardcore boxing. They move the needle with hardcore fans. These guys, neither one of these guys move the needle with the mainstream casual fan. As much as Lomachenko's cabal of supporters, including Paulie Malignaggi is the head of the Lomachenko fan club.
Even though the way he said it was disrespectful, but I agree with the way he says.
Agree with what specifically?
Yeah, agree with what?
That the way this going, he was like, look, the way it looks like Haney will drop the belts instead of fighting Lomachenko and go to 140. I agree with that.
But the way Paulie put it, Paulie made
it sound like he was scared of Lomachenko.
He's scared of Loma, and
that's not true.
Himself to make
that's what I'm trying to figure out. What you agree with.
The weight. But my thing, I agree. What I've always advocated. I like the fact that if Haney was to go to 140, the fucking belts spread to the win. You know what I'm saying?
They spread it on Top Rank. They ain't gonna spread to the win. I mean,
what you mean?
It's going to be Shakur Stevenson and Lomachenko are going to end up fighting for them belts.
No, how? If he vacates the belt, they go back. They're not tied together anymore.
I understand that, but Randy, from a business standpoint, these sanctioning bodies have relationships with certain promoters. And if you think that these sanctioning bodies...
That never happened that a unified champion... You could go to Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor was stripping the belts one by one.
Yeah, that's because there's no big names.
Boxing, if a unified champion go to the next fighters, two number ones in each division can fight for the unified champion. I've never seen that, bro.
I guarantee you, if Devin Haney vacates those belts, that Shakur Stevenson and Lomachenko will be in line almost immediately
for
not for all four.
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
I've just never seen just in unified fight where neither one is a champion.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
I've never seen that.
I have never seen that.
Wait. Say that one more time.
You said for two of the belts. So if two of the belts on the line, that means that the winner is a unified champion.
All four.
Wait. Say that again, because y'all trying to talk over each other.
What we're saying is that you're saying that for two of those belts that Lomachenko will fight Shakur Stevenson. So that means the winner out of that comes out a unified champion. And I've never...
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if Devin Haney vacates those belts, Lomachenko is currently the number one in the WBC and the WBO. Haney vacates, Lomachenko will fight a vacant title fight against pick a guy for potentially both of those belts. The same way that Canelo Alvarez fought Callum Smith for both the WBC and the WBA, even though Callum Smith only had the WBA. right? Unless Al Heyman can figure out a way to get Isaac Cruz that fight, Jezreel Corrales that fight, because interestingly, Isaac Cruz is the number 2 behind Loma in both the WBO and the WBC. What an interesting scenario that would be if Haney vacates and now you've got Loma and Isaac Cruz in vacant title fights. That would be a very, very interesting scenario. Ryan Garcia, by the way, is the number 1 in the WBA. Don't think that Ryan Garcia won't be in an eliminator. Well, no, Ryan Garcia is at 140, so I don't even know how
he's not making 135.
Right.
So Coach, if this was your son, not even your son, if this was your fighter, would you recommend Devin Haney stay at this weight class?
Right. So if he can get the top fighter at that weight class, I would probably, and looking at how he performed against my man, I would say let's get the top fighter at the current weight.
So we got one that say he gonna fight him. They say he gonna fight
Dave
him.
I already asked Dave that question. He said Dave said to move up. He said he just said Loma's
now. Okay. He trying to think about it.
He fought at 135, right?
Yep. Right? Haney.
Who is the top fighter at 135?
Haney.
It's Tank.
So listen.
What kind of metric are you using?
What I said.
No, we already know what he's thinking about. That's why I just said what he wanted to hear.
Fight Tank at 135 if you can, or go ahead on and move up to 140 and clean up.
All right, he ain't getting Tank.
So why I say that's not going to happen? Because one, I think that Garcia Tank is very close. One, and then if that's really true, then now you making Haney sit a whole year at 135, an additional year where he's already struggling now. So I don't think that happens.
Yeah. He's going to move up. He's got Teofimo Lopez over there on the top ranked side. He's got Regis Prograis, which is a very high risk, low reward fight for him on that side of the street. You've got Jose Ramirez at 140 pounds. Who's a top ranked
somebody
fighter
in the top 15, right? He's never fought at 140. Everybody just thinking this is not a power punching, maestro. So let him make sure that he understands the strength of these guys and going out there with Tank and Ryan Garcia. They had power that they could bring up to that weight class. This guy's going to have long, drawn out fights with these bigger guys.
Yeah, but if he's passing out in the sauna trying to make weight, that doesn't do him any good either.
No, I'm not saying that, but he doesn't have to go after Teofimo or something like that. Just let him get acclimated. Because one thing, once he drops the belts, then he's just a former champion.
Right, I get it. I was bringing up those names and said there's still big fights for him to have at 140 pounds.
Hey, Jared, do you think he push the Terrence Crawford route with the WBO and then challenge Josh Taylor?
No.
Josh Taylor's not fighting at 140.
Yes, absolutely not. Well, Josh Taylor is apparently going to fight this kid Catterall in a rematch.
Yeah, he's doing Catterall at 140.
Yeah. Now, but that's an interesting question,
it's been at
Randy.
least 18 months since this guy fought.
Josh Taylor still holds what? Do he hold 2 belts? No, he's still.
I'm talking about what his body hold and the way that he is not going to be able to get off.
Now, Randy, rock in a hard place because
what he could do, Randy, is what Demetrius Andrade tried to do and exercise. Irrelevant? You said what?
Become irrelevant.
Well, no, that's very funny. But I was saying that if he exercises that WBO clause, he could challenge Teofimo Lopez for that vacant belt because Lopez is the number 1 in the WBO at 140.
At 140, Josh Taylor is still the champion.
Right, but if I'm assuming Taylor vacates.
He's fighting what's his name at 140. What you talking
about? But he's not going to stay at 140 pounds, dude. He's already after the Catterall fight. He's got to move up because this guy is fucking.
So now you're saying he's sitting on. You saying Haney's going to sit on the bench for another year plus?
No. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying he can move up and he can fight all kinds of guys. That's why I just named off all those names. If
you
he moves up,
he fight Teofimo for the vacant WBO.
Because you asked if he did, if he pulls a Terrence Crawford and tries to exercise that WBO clause where you can move up and become the mandatory. I don't think he's going to do that because of Teofimo's position. And promotionally, he seems like he's in a place where he's doing business with Top Rank. So he moves up
with his head on straight, knocks the shit out of Haney. But go ahead.
What do you think, Dave? Teofimo versus Devin at 140. Haven't not seen him at 140.
Listen, I like it. I like it.
Who are you picking?
I like Haney. But let me make a point too, though. I like kind of going back to what Randy said. Look, you know, I just don't. I got to go back to Lomo real quick, man. So look. And I was just sitting here while y'all was going back, man. I mean, I'm sitting here with Haney, man. Probably the only thing that would be beneficial in my eyes, you know, it'd be great to hammer that nail in to Lomo's coffin. It'd be great to get that name, even though it honestly is just, you know, an old man fighting a young boy, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not opposed to it, man. I mean, and especially after y'all was talking about, you know, he might have to wait because the Tank Garcia, blah, 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 might be happening. It's a whole year. You know, Lomo might not be bad, man. But that's yeah. I just wanted to say that, man. But I just don't see, because he's going to beat the dude, man. He's going to beat Lomo, dude.
I think so, too. I don't think Lomo.
So make the fight. You know,
I'm like, if he weight drain, I think Lomo get him, man.
That's the other side of the equation. How much is that weight cut going to affect him 5 months from now when that fight gets made? Loma fights in 2 weeks. Depending on how that fight goes, what if Loma end up with a bad cut in that fight for whatever reason? Headbutt, punch, whatever. What if this is the fight of Loma's life and he needs 5, 6, 7 months to recover? And that's why I asked Dave what he thought, man, because Haney looked bad at that weigh-in. I said, man, this shit might go back. Now, he rehydrated and performed very, very well, in my opinion.
He's a professional.
Right, but he's still a human being.
Can't keep doing that, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's he's not 32. He's 23. But I'm not.
Is he 23?
I believe so.
Man, okay, well.
Yeah, he's
still a very young man then.
Younger than a lot of people give him credit for. So.
But he has the frame of a fucking welterweight. I mean, he's going to finish his career probably at 147 pounds. And Loma is eating 5 guys the day before the weigh-in for 135 pounds. Loma is a 126-pounder, blown up 130-pounder. He's real comfortable at that weight, man.
Yeah.
And if you come in there depleted against a guy like Loma, like Randy said, you might be the better fighter, but Loma's going to get you. Loma might get him. Haney at 100%, he beats Loma. There's no doubt in my mind about it. But Haney not at 100%, the fight gets a lot more interesting, man. It's going to look bad, and I hate that for Devin, because Devin's wanted this fight for such a long time, and now he's growing out of the division, and now he's put in a situation where he might have to come into this fight now at 100% and fight this dude, man. I hate that for him. And if he vacates and does what's best for him and vacates, the Paulie Malinages of the world are going to run around and say, oh, I told you he was going to duck him, blah, blah, whoop, whoop. And it's like, get the fuck out of here, man. He's been calling out this dude for years, man. So, I like Paulie. I fuck with Paulie, but that narrative is already out there. He's already,
he was already
at work spinning that fucking narrative.
Analysis of what Haney might do, I agree with that, but I think he beats Lomachenko. I think he would have beat him like 2 years ago when the fight should have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, so
I agree.
We need to move on.
We got Wilder and Helenius.
So we're gonna end this with Wilder smashing your boy Robert Helenius. This fight, I don't know if it showed us much, except for that Deontay still has this kind of otherworldly power that we've always known. I want to go ahead and state off top that anybody that think this was a farce of a fight, or that Robert threw this fight, you are talking out the side of your arse.
Yeah, go kill. Yeah, go throw yourself down the stairs, man. Yeah, please.
But one thing I was saying, I had, and I'll go ahead. I had said that the kind of punch was, it wasn't like necessarily like garbage, but if you were just the way that it wasn't like it was full extension that he had kind of turned it over. He even kind of landed maybe almost with the inside of the glove, but that just speaks to the amount of power that he can just generate. And this was going off of it was off the back foot, but he was countering. He was coming out of a corner. We've seen him do that before with Luis Ortiz, but Robert was definitely concussed, was looking up at the lights. His body was stiff, like it was starting to go into rigor mortis already. So with that said,
yeah.
What do you think? So this was in the first round. We saw Wilder trying to move around a little bit. I don't know if it was a little bit, a couple of maybe just trying to get his nerves together. But Boston, were you impressed with this? You know, did it show you anything? And then what do you think is the logical next step for our man?
You can't help but be impressed by this guy's power, man. And I'm somebody. I tell people I'm a third generation boxing fan. I go back and I watched black and white videos that you go with. The resolution is terrible. It is tough to find a guy who has got his kind of uncanny power is crazy. And it's like the guys that come to mind: Shavers, Jackson, Tyson, and I'm sure Dave can pick another couple guys. I mean, it's them guys, and you can't.
Burns had some good one punch.
Pick another handful of guys. So was I impressed? Again, you can't help but be impressed by a guy with that kind of power. It wasn't much of. He didn't give us much to evaluate, though. I was really looking forward to seeing if he had included any more of this additional skill, if his skill set had improved, if the stuff we were promised going into that third Fury fight had finally started to take hold and he was going to be able to implement some of the stuff that Malik Scott was teaching him. We didn't see that. I mean, he knocked Helenius out with a minute to go in the first round or some shit like that.
Yeah, it was already. But let me ask you this one question, though. So part of it where it was, Helenius said, Tyson showed us the key, on Fury, in the sense that all you got to do is put him on his back foot, do these other things right. So usually because we're known that he has this kind of, this little step that he does. And then, right, it's this kind of long punch where he generates his power. But maybe part of what he was doing is like, I know that, so I'm going to box on the back foot a little bit and then just counter off those who are trying to come in on me. And it's not his fault that the guy didn't stand, that. So do you think that was a little bit a part of the plan?
Yeah. So Wilder had in a post-fight interview, somebody had captured it that they had planned to fight off their back foot. They wanted Helenius to reach, is what I remember from the interview. They wanted Helenius to reach, to overcommit and catch him with a counter shot. So this is not my analysis. This is apparently what either Malik Scott or Deontay Wilder disclosed in an interview. So yeah, he came out, he moved around a lot. That was their plan. I will say this: the first thing that I noticed about Wilder, and I did not see the weigh-in, but as soon as he took the robe off, his costume off, I said he looks so much leaner than he did in those last two Fury fights. Yeah. Whoever told him to put on weight and all that bullshit should be slapped. Like, that was the last thing you needed to do. He looked so much leaner. And when you're leaner and as a person who has been very, very, very bulky at times, and as a person who does not boxing, but I do martial arts and I try to be quick and explosive, I notice the difference when I've got big, massive biceps and triceps and shoulders than when I've got much smaller, leaner biceps and triceps. Your quick twitch and your explosiveness is much better when you're leaner. And I think
absolutely right. You don't want those kind of short, those compact muscles, but even when he puts on the weight, right, it's just kind of torso of him. Like, what if he just put on about 10 to 15 pounds on his lower body? Because
that's the last thing you want.
When he was fighting Tyson Fury, he looked at times he looked like one of those little spinning tops where his legs could barely hold up his body.
Right, but the problem is, from a strength and conditioning standpoint, when you add that mass to the lower body for a boxer or a cyclist, anybody who requires that cardiovascular, that muscular endurance, those muscles in your lower body are oxygen suckers. They're oxygen thieves. And when you get big glutes, big hamstrings, big quads, that oxygen in the blood is going down there, and it's not going up here, and it's not going up here. So what you risk is that muscular endurance failing you towards the end of the fight. So I've heard this argument made about Wilder. Hey, why don't he get his legs bigger? He needs bigger legs. I don't think you do. Especially with Wilder. When you've got that kind of uncanny type of power.
Well, yeah, it's not for the power. It's just for him. I see around the fourth round or something like that. If fighters can get him to that point, he seems to be unsteady on his legs a little bit. But
I don't think that's a strength deficiency. I don't think that's because of a lack of strength. I think that's a technical thing, a skill thing, and the way he throws punches and the way he delivers punches. I don't think a lot of people get this confused when it comes to strength. Strength and muscle mass are not necessarily congruous. You don't have to have big muscles to have strong muscles, especially as a boxer. If you have strong, soft tissues, ligaments, tendons, if those are strong, you can be able to maintain balance. You don't have to have big quads.
No, I'm not. No, I'm saying that. But if somebody is leaning on you, and if they're doing that, your legs are gonna tire. They are.
Yeah, again, big muscles isn't the difference there. Strong muscles, strong tendons is the difference there. Not necessarily big muscles. When you want big muscles, football players need big muscles, right? Because there's size and mass is involved in being able to move guys around. Not so much in boxing. So I don't want to take up too much time and get too far off track, but no.
Yeah, but
Deontay Wilder does not need to add bigger muscles. He doesn't need bigger legs. He doesn't need
definitely defer to your expertise. I don't think it will hurt. I think that we've seen fighters throughout there who like with Oscar De La Hoya's and who were kind of, with smaller legs, but I won't kind of get into that. But with the casual Rand, so from seeing this fight, do you think that I guess the natural next step is to fight Andy Ruiz or whatnot? So do you see that as the next fight? Do you or do you see, or how do you see this playing out within the heavyweight division?
Yeah, I think that's already been set. I think the WBC's it is going to force a Wilder Ruiz fight as a title eliminator, which makes sense. But and to the point y'all was just making with Boston Jerry, I understand what Cameron was saying, but my thing is, if you put him up against a Eddie Munster type fighter, a big fighter that just like look like he just
like Joe Joyce,
Rocco Soccer, Wilder's gonna look great. But if you put him like let's go back in time, put Wilder against any like Emmanuel Stewart type fighter. and see at that lightweight with those skinny legs if that same technique works with them. And I don't think it does. I just think that anybody that can throw a punch and move, be a little bit agile and can avoid a right hand once or twice is going to give Wilder a lot of problems.
Yeah, but no, that guy is not out there.
Right now, that guy is not out there. I think
maybe Usyk. I don't think Usyk
might give him a little bit of problem. I haven't seen enough about Jared Anderson that's coming out of the United States. But any heavyweight that can throw a punch and can like move his head a little bit is going to give Wilder a problem, man. I just think I thought in this fight, I was looking at him and he was on his bicycle a lot. And just off the little shitty time that he had. And I'm like, as a heavyweight, that's not going to work, man. Because if he get caught, he going to fold.
Well, we know that was his plan, though, apparently, right? So they planned on that. It wasn't like he got forced onto his bike. At least that's what they said.
It looks like that was his plan. But I at heavyweight, man, that I don't think that's a long-term winning plan.
I mean, even when he can just if that right hand gets anywhere near you, motherfuckers
exactly.
fall over.
I just think that I don't know if there are, any fighter outside of Tyson Fury that you would favor over Deontay Wilder. But
and you talk about guys that outweigh him by 30 pounds, 25 pounds. 40 pounds. Tyson Fury had 50 pounds on this dude, 40 pounds. He's touching him with technically unsound punches, arm punches, and he's flattening these guys. Can you imagine if he hit somebody his own size? Can you imagine if he hits Ruiz or if he catches Usyk clean?
So with that said, I mean, I would that would be hard to catch Usyk clean the way he moves his head and moves his feet.
Is it? I mean,
I never thought. I think Usyk can get touched.
He can. He certainly can. Usyk is not Pernell fucking Whitaker. He's not Wilfred Benitez out there, man. He defends with his feet a lot, but his head is there. He's gotten better about. He takes his head offline somewhat, but he defends with his feet a lot using angles. That's what I've seen. If you think you've seen something different,
I mean, he's only been dropped by body punches, so I haven't really seen him caught flush. He got dropped early in his career, but he got dropped by body punches. But Coach, so let's go to Coach. So Coach actually picked the upset. I don't know if it was to get views or not, but we do. we do appreciate you for doing that. But were you impressed with Deontay Wilder? And just kind of give your comments about if you were training him, do you think that you would ask him to kind of build up his lower body or just not mess with this recipe, which has been successful 97% of the time?
Yeah, man. Well, yeah, man. I think I was just playing devil's advocate, man. I think we even kind of talked in the last segment. I said, man, Wilder gonna probably knock this fool out. What I was hoping though, man, is like, whoever had mentioned it earlier, this guy lunged, reached with that right hand and got countered and went to sleep, man. I was hoping that your boy could just box and work behind that jab. You didn't see Tyson Fury swimming and falling into punches, falling in and throwing his right hand, his right leg coming forward. So he closing the distance. You didn't see Tyson doing all. You saw Tyson working behind that jab, clinching and boxing. I thought Helenius could at least try to do that, man, So no, I wouldn't mess with the recipe, man. And look, let me tell y'all something too, man. Look, man, Wilder fights how he fights. We've seen enough of what happened in that camp when he first got with Malik Scott. We saw all the stuff that Malik Scott was trying to teach him to do, and anybody can do anything on pads and the body shield and the heavy bag and look good. But even in the Tyson fight, when it got
when the going got tough and the rounds came in and fatigue set in, he went back to fighting how he fights. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and that's just who we're gonna see. So if somebody take him into deep waters or whatever, he's gonna revert back to what he knows. But even what he knows was enough to still knock a Joker out. What, 39 and or something like that, you know. So you just gonna have to, you know, God may have gave this man, you know, one bullet, but that Joker accurate with that bullet, and you can't deny, you just can't deny it. That right hand, if it grazes you, gonna knock you out. So here's my take on stuff. What is going to take? I don't know if it was Randy or Boston that said, you know, a fighter that can move, get his head off the line, and box a little bit is going to give going to give Wilder problem. I totally agree. I like Jared Anderson. I just haven't seen him elusive enough to where he's that guy just yet. I think Wilder stops him. I don't think he's elusive enough. I think Ruiz, all right. So if Ruiz wasn't such a daggone donut, and if he, you know, it's gonna take a shorter fighter. It's gonna take a shorter fighter with the skill set and agility and head movement of Smoking Joe Frazier. I mean, just to slip and bob, and Joe was getting up in there, twisting them hooks off on jokers. You know what I'm saying? So, and you know, Ruiz got the height, but he just still, that navel is just in the way. You know what I'm saying? That Joker got the navel just pulling him down. You know what I'm saying? That Joker, you know, looked like he had Thanksgiving for breakfast at time. You just don't know what's, you know, what he's gonna come in at. So I'm with the casual Rand and saying right now, heavyweight division, I just don't see nobody doing it, man. I'm trying, and honestly, right now, it is about defense, head movement, and mounting an attack in that order. Yeah, it's about defense, head movement, and being able to mount an attack to beat this guy. I like how Ortiz was able to slip in and hurt Wilder a little bit, but that was coming from a southpaw aim.
Yeah, and a master, you know, supreme boxer from that Cuban.
With hundreds of amateur fights, you know.
Right.
How do you think Andy Ruiz does against Wilder?
I think he gets hit on top of the head, and then I think he gets caught with an uppercut. I think he goes to sleep.
Ooh, yeah. I think after he gets hit on top of the head, I think he's asleep after that shit. I mean, we saw Chris Arreola put him down.
It could go either way, man. Because I hope Wilder wouldn't hurt his hand. I hope Wilder wouldn't hit, but I see Ruiz getting hit right here, man. And then I just somehow see, and Wilder's not known for an uppercut. You know, he got a wild slanging hook. You know, when he dropped Fury, when Fury kind of rose up from the dead. But that hook followed after that brick hand touched him. Rap. You know what I'm saying?
He actually, I mean, it was wild and swinging. I don't know how planned, but he actually knocked out. He actually knocked out Ortiz with an uppercut in their first fight. He had hurt him earlier, and then the one that set him down.
Right.
But it was so I can see a ugly uppercut catching Ortiz. So I mean, catching Ruiz, man. You know, Joe Joyce picking out anybody from he just stops these guys, man. If anybody has a chance, I would say that it would be a seasoned, I would say it would be a developed, focused Jared Anderson.
I wouldn't mind seeing Joe. I mean, Joyce gets hit a lot. I've just never even seen him even hardly take a back step.
Yeah. That's a big, strong.
That is a juggernaut. I would love to see that. And Wilder, his punches are a little. Well, Robert Helenius was about the same height, but it's just a little bit different when you're not punching down. I would like to see that fight.
I don't think
they'll do that now.
Faster than Joe Joyce, and he moves a little bit more, and he'll sit down and just rock his ass with that right when he walks his ass in.
Yeah, but what happens if he? Because listen, we've seen Wilder hit somebody and we seen him Stervain last 12 rounds. So what happens when you keep hitting this dude, and then what happens when you don't get him out there? What happens to his psyche?
Yes, it's a question we're gonna have to find out. I mean, I
would love to see that.
Well, we know his power. Go ahead, Dave.
Knocked down Fury.
You said what, Dave?
Look at how many times he knocked down Fury. So we see what happens when he hits somebody and don't get him out there. As long as that person is fights back, I just don't know who got the heart of Fury out there, and the chin, and the wheel and drive of Fury. He knocks Joyce out. He puts that joker to sleep.
I would like to see that. I don't know now. I don't know. I would like to see it. Joyce is still a bit raw, but it's intriguing, and we know that Joyce is going to get hit. He's going to get hit flush. And
Joyce is going to be raw because Joyce is 38 years old or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it has to happen now, right? It has to happen like soon. But maybe because the only way that you can sell another fight, against Fury is you bring him over to England, have him knock out Joe Joyce, right, in front of at the O2, and then have Tyson ring.
What do you mean? Sell it? Wilder Fury 4?
Yeah. I mean, because there's nobody else out there.
The only way he gets that fight, he has to beat Usyk. If he gets the Usyk fight, beats Usyk and becomes a unified champ, now Fury has a chance to become undisputed against a guy he's arguably beaten 3 times. That's the only way, and Fury still might not fight him.
And then you see that Usyk is starting to backpedal. Usyk is like, yo, I think I want to try to get with Fury. So I don't think that ever happens. I think Usyk.
Well, I don't know if that's backpedaling. I would say he's forward pedaling because the Fury fight is for undisputed.
Usyk was the one who said that he'll entertain a Wilder fight. He was going to come to New York to sit there and say he'll fight him.
Yeah, then the guy who makes the decisions, Aegis Clemus, came out and said after that very specifically that Deontay Wilder is not the priority. Very, very specific.
All right, guys. So with that said, we are about at our time. This was a lot to talk about, so we went a little bit longer for the show. But with that said, I want to remind everybody to go and like and subscribe. This does a lot for our algorithm. We are just bringing our show back to YouTube. We have a producer. We have some graphics. We have some different kind of segues and stuff into the show, but we need those followers. So with that said, this is Professor Nim signing out for Coach Dave. The Casual Rand.
Peace out.
And Boston Jared.
Peace.
And we are out.